All right, what's up everyone, and welcome to round 3 coverage of the 2020 Dynamic Discs Open presented by Dynamic Discs. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Disc Golf Pro Tour, Dynamic Discs obviously, and GK Pro for covering the FPO out here today. We have the front 9. It's going to be an interesting battle. We have some really good card mates, and it's going to be fun. So my name is Paige Shue.
I'm Rebecca Cox.
And we're ready to see the front 9 of Country Club. This is Emporia's premier course, and it's going to be a lot of birdies, a lot of bogeys. It's definitely very windy today. On the card, we have Paige Pierce, myself, Paige Shue, Missy Gannon, and Catrina Allen.
Yeah, Missy Gannon shot 2 pretty solid rounds, shooting under par the second round to get herself up to lead card. So I'm excited to see how she does.
Definitely, it's going to be a battle. All right, let's start with hole 1, 999 feet. This hole's pretty wide open. There's the OB road on the right, and there's cart path on the left. But most of us are just trying to rip it as far as we can and keep it in bounds. It is a par 5. It's definitely gettable. But really, there was that tree we just flew by that we're trying to avoid, at least most of us, because we are trying to throw maybe flex max distance shots. But then our next shots, we're trying to reach the top of the hill that we're flying over right now. Then we're throwing probably fairways for our third shots, trying to get us a putt for the birdie. Up to the left of the basket, if you hyzer out too much, you could go beyond that golf green as well.
Really takes 3 solid shots on this hole to get yourself a birdie. All right. Yeah,
Paige is starting the day with a 12-stroke lead, so I'm sure she's just trying to stick to her game plan. What she's been doing is working fine, so she's ripping on her Zeus here.
A little low, but she's in the middle. She'll be perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, it seems like low's a popular mistake. I mean, if you get too errant, you could definitely hyzer out left out of bounds or turn it over pretty quickly.
Definitely the mistake to make on this hole. Next up, we got Paige Shue.
Woo-woo. I'm throwing my Biofusion Enforcer, just trying to get a flexy shot. It's not my furthest flying disc, but it's just kind of the safe play. And I have a decent look to get up on top of the hill.
You have any wind on this hole?
Wind?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Today was super windy. I don't remember what the wind was. I want to say it was a little bit, maybe left to right head.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's usually the wind on this hole.
I know. Makes it way harder. So you got Missy cranking over. I'm not sure what this is.
Oh, it lifted over that tree.
That's the tree most of us are trying to avoid.
That's a nice place.
And we have 2014 world champion Catrina Allen making her way back up onto the lead card. She also shot under par yesterday, I believe 2 under. So I'm sure she's ripping on a D1 or a D2 here.
Flipped it over just a little too much.
Yeah, definitely a common mistake.
Being under that tree isn't the worst thing.
And there is no 2-meter rule, so she was fine. She ripped that one. That one went pretty far. It might not look that far on camera, but my goal is to get there even with my drive that didn't hit that tree. So she definitely got a ways up there. They're on the same Biofusion Enforcer, just trying to reach the top of the hill. I haven't birdied this one yet, so I really want to do it on the last day.
Both of those kind of pushing the left side of the fairway, which I like the left side when throwing an upshot. It takes all those trees out of play.
Definitely.
Paige ripped on this one a little bit. Oh, that bush or tree might have saved her from going OB.
So we had Missy with the furthest throw of the group.
You can just see the wind blasting her hair everywhere.
Oh, yeah, this was definitely the windiest day. I think the average, it was like 18 to 20 mile per hour winds with 30 mile per hour gusts, I believe. It was crazy. We're all just trying to keep it in bounds. So it looks like Missy turned that one over a little bit, but she'll have a good opportunity to get up and down for her birdie, maybe par.
She has a birdie look from there, but easy par.
So Katrina's throwing her third. I'm sure she's trying to be aggressive and get to the basket. She can reach it for sure.
Skip up there. That's definitely a putt that Cat can make.
Absolutely.
She is good in circle 2.
So I'm throwing my Fusion Getaway. I was pretty overstable fairway, just trying to used that headwind to my advantage. I kind of turned it over and let it do the full flex, and it got me inside the circle. So interesting. So Paige's second shot that went into that tree was actually a lost disc. We could not find it.
No way.
We looked for a while, started a 3-minute timer, still couldn't find it. So she actually went back and re-threw, and that's where her shot landed. So she was throwing 1, 2, 3, 4 there already, I believe. And that was her go-to driver, so she was pretty upset to lose it on hole 1. So it looks like Missy got up and down there.
Cat just laying up. Probably a little too windy to run that putt.
Yeah, and
it's easy to roll away for sure.
Absolutely. The flags on top of the basket are kind of heavy, so I don't think they're really representing how windy it is right now.
Yeah, it's not an accurate representation of the wind at all. As you can see, the tree branches flying around, and the flag is pretty still.
This is Missy for her par save. She drains it. I think one of the best putters on tour probably right now. Seems very confident in her putting stroke.
Oh, yeah. Paige Shue with the birdie.
I was stoked to finally get that one. I hadn't gotten it either of the round. And to get on the windiest day, I was feeling pretty good. Catrina just a little low. So she'll be tapping in her bogey. Looked like hole 1, I believe, played as the second hardest, averaging 0.8 over par.
Yeah, Paige Shue is actually the only one to birdie that hole.
Woo!
Here we have hole 2. It's straight uphill, 576 feet. It's a par 4. Most of the drives will probably be up by that red stake. I mean, not a lot of us are making it to the top of the hill, but we all have a good opportunity for the birdie here if your upshot is good. These trees are kind of guardian trees. You have the option for the flick or the hyzer for your upshot. It's all about just having 2 really solid shots, honestly.
Definitely. I'm just throwing something kind of overstable on an Annie and trusting it to flex back. I'm usually on the left side, so I'm on that right side right now, and I'm kind of nervous about it. I've been practicing the left side.
Yeah, and that big bush on the right side there kind of comes into your brain a little bit because you kind of have to aim for it if you want to be right in the middle of the fairway.
Absolutely, and landing in it sucks. Definitely taking out the birdie opportunity, maybe even the par if you land in it. So Missy gets up the fairway. Looks like Catrina rips one as well.
Oh, yeah.
I think Catrina and Paige kind of have an advantage here. The further up you get on the fairway, the easier that upshot is. So I'm sure they're just trying to rip it as far as they can.
Here's Paige. Ooh, wow. The wind really had a lot of fun with that, but she's right there in the middle of the fairway.
Definitely, and she'll have a pretty easy up and down. Well, if it wasn't super windy, it'd be an easy up and down. Just makes those little upshots just a little scarier and a little harder.
For sure. Ooh, you kind of took it up the middle there.
Yeah, not really on purpose. Just trying to, I don't know, just get it up there. That was my Lucid X Maverick, the Sac Melton Signature Series. And it gives me a decent look.
Oh, just a little low.
Yeah, and that could happen. I mean, with that OB on the left and this tailwind, you can really fade out left and push yourself out of bounds.
I really like the flick up shot play on this hole, especially in the wind. Beautiful flick by Cat. Mm-hmm. Set up so nicely for a birdie.
Like Paige is throwing her Crystal Fierce.
Every time I've seen her throw that, she throws it like she's trying to throw it in.
Right. It's very line drive.
She knows exactly what that thing's going to do.
Missy's just trying to get up and down, save her par, and she comes up a little bit short.
Yeah, you can see even the 100-foot shots out here are tricky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably disappointed in that. This is one we're kind of trying to birdie, and she just missed her par putt, so she'll probably be tapping in for the bogey.
Paige for the birdie.
I was surprised to miss that high. It was a tailwind, and I just tried to put it up in the air and just missed, so I'm pretty upset about that one.
Great putt from Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Paige banging one for her birdie.
Yeah, it looks like there were only 3 birdies on the day. That was Paige, Kat, and Deanne Carey. So good birdies from them. I think this is a good hole. Definitely birdieable for the women, but there's enough OB and obstacles to where it can hinder you. All right, on to hole 3. This is a par 4, 489-foot downhill. Really the main thing you really are worrying about off the tee is going to be hitting this gap right here. Some people might choose to go left of that big tree that you see on the left, but a lot of us are trying to go straight up the gut and keep it in bounds. There is that OB cart path on the right, and there is a golf fairway on the left. So you just want to keep this one straight, and then we'll have a pretty easy upshot. All you got to worry about are these 2 trees, but most people are throwing hyzers into the gap and having pretty good looks for birdie.
Kat looks like she's lining up the middle gap.
And I remember we had a pretty strong tailwind on this hole.
And I was kind of surprised that they made this hole a par 4 compared to last year. It was just a par 3. Kind of makes you think about the eagle, getting the eagle on this hole.
Right. I think I was talking to my dad, and he said there was maybe only 1-2 last year from any of the FPO. And that was Jennifer Allen, when we know she can crush it. So
yeah. Ooh. Oh, and I think that's the first time Paige has actually gone out of bounds on this hole for a drive.
Yeah, and the left side does come into play, especially with this tailwind. I'm ripping something pretty understable on a big Annie and trusting that tailwind to flex it out.
There's Missy laying up the middle. Everyone going right down the gap.
How do you play it?
I always throw the flick on this hole.
Yeah.
Flick hyzer, try to get my birdie.
So I'm just trying to throw my putter up there. I was super nervous on these little up shots all day. Just that wind just makes them 10 times scarier.
Yeah, and even giving yourself a tailwind putt isn't easy.
Nope.
Oh, Paige went for it, but just dropped in that wind.
She'll settle for the par.
Nice little layup from Missy. Tap in birdie. We'll be seeing the same from Kat. Nice. And see, walking away from this hole, taking a 4, you feel like you took a bogey.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't feel like you took a par. So I feel like most women want to really get the 3 on this hole.
Absolutely. Look like 3 birdies, 1 par. Seems pretty average. This actually played as the easiest hole on the course. Averaged 4 under par, or 0.4 under par.
Here we have the leaderboard so far. It's a battle for second.
Yep, and we got Andrea Eaton, Cynthia Ricciardi, Kona, and Sandy trying to make moves.
Hole 4, 438 feet. We have that OB cart path on the left, and we also have OB green up here on the right where you see those walls. It's a pretty hard to reach hole.
Definitely.
You have to really rip on something, especially if the wind is not favorable. Staying in bounds is really the goal here. But we have women on this card who can definitely reach this hole.
Absolutely, they're trying to attack. I believe it was a left to right headwind on this hole.
Looks like that just lifted up and just kind of took the winds out of her sails a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a hard win for this hole. I'm just ripping something kind of overstable. And I really didn't commit to it, and I just did not go very far.
Not a bad spot to be in, though. Right in the middle of the fairway.
Yeah, what's nice about this one is if you keep it in balance, you're probably guaranteed a 3. Your upshot should be pretty wide open. Even if you throw it short, left, right, you should be good to go.
It's just one of those holes you just want to reach so bad.
Right.
It's just right there.
I know, and then
But then you rip on it and you're in that ditch or shorter.
Yeah, that ditch is a typical landing zone for most of the FPO. But we know Paige is trying to birdie this one.
Ripping on that Zeus again, no doubt.
There's a nice hyzer flip.
Just trusting it. Putting yourself right there in the circle. Have a little straddle putt for birdie. Easy up shot.
Yeah, a little long,
A
but
little long, but
should have a decent putt. So Catrina has to contend with this Weeping Willow, but she has a flick up shot pretty easy.
ooh. Looks like she was trying to throw it in there a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I thought that tree would come more into play with her putt,
Mm-hmm.
but now it is, it seems.
She'll take her tap in par. I think she's disappointed in missing that putt, but
Yeah, you don't see a lot of those from her, but
so I took my time on this. There was a ripping headwind, and I took the full 30 seconds, and it literally did not let up. It was insane. So definitely disappointed in that one. This is definitely one I do not want to be bogeying, but with this wind, anything can happen.
cat for par. We're all over the basket on this one.
Yeah. Even Missy's taking her time on a, what, 6
Yeah.
to 8 foot putt.
I mean, you can kind of see when they're lining it up, it's like shaking the putter in their hand.
All right, hole 5. This hole is 537 feet, par 4. For the drive, it kind of plays a little bit downhill, but then for the second half of the hole, it plays uphill. There is OB right of the cart path and left on the golf fairway. Most of us are trying to land right about here, maybe a little bit to the right to give us a hyzer upshot. If you land on the left, you have to contend with this low ceiling and all these trees that you can definitely hit off of and kick yourself out of bounds. But as we get further up the fairway, it gets more narrow, and as you can see, there's OB inside the circle on both sides once you get to the basket. It is a par 4, and I think a lot of us are trying to get the birdie. It's definitely attackable.
It's a very gettable birdie, but in this wind, you just don't know.
Yeah, and I believe it was a headwind. A little bit of a left to right headwind.
Missy puts it in a pretty good spot.
I think everyone's just going to be ripping some overstable on a hyzer, having it flip up, and then having it fade. And depend on that stability. So you really got to trust your disc on this one.
That needs to get left. Oh, she's fine. Wow.
Yeah, just crushed it up the fairway.
Absolutely crushed it.
She'll have a pretty easy up and down for her birdie. Catrina throws more of a line drive, keeps it low, out of the wind, and she'll have a good look as well. I was kind of scared of that OB to the right.
Yeah.
I ended up left. Not really where I wanted to be, but I'm inbounds. This hole scares me.
Let's see what Missy can do here.
I want to say that's like a Nuke OS or something
Ooh,
really
sit down.
overstable.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Man.
And that's the danger. Throwing
Yeah.
that hyzer and getting
Yeah.
caught in those trees.
If you throw it too high and get caught in those trees, it's bad news.
Mm-hmm. They're kind of low, but I'm in bounds, and at that point I'm thinking, well, just get your par. Par's not going to be bad on this hole in the wind.
Cat lining up a hyzer. See, that's the shot right there. You need to be low, and you need to have enough power to get up there. It was a great shot.
Looks like Paige has her banger GT or banger, some kind of banger. Not really sure what it's called, but
She's going to have a tap-in birdie. Absolutely ideal landing spot where she was.
And just pitch up. It's going to be Missy for her par after the OB stroke. She's parked.
Yeah, all you can do is just put it next to the basket in that position.
Mm-hmm. That's Catrina
Sit.
for her birdie. It's a little short, and Catrina's such a push putter and doesn't have a lot of spin, so it gets easily affected by the wind.
I know how that feels.
Yeah.
That was a great comeback putt.
Sure, she's stoked to clean that par up.
Tapping in your par, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Missy with the bogey.
The recent addition to the bag is the Gatekeeper. I wasn't really liking these so much before this new tournament plastic, but the first few shots I threw with this disc were just under the basket, feels good for power grip, or if I just want to control it at slower speeds with a pinch grip, right down the middle. It's got a little bit of stability, so it can handle a little wind.
All right, here we have hole 6, 351 feet straight uphill. We have that cart path OB, the previous golf green on the left is OB, and that sand trap in green on the right is also OB. And we also have OB long in the basket, so we have a lot of OB going on this hole. I know a couple women on this card can reach it, but I feel like it's more of a tweener, not really something a lot of people are trying to birdie.
Yeah, just because it's so far uphill. You really need a lot of power and a lot of pop to be able to reach it.
Like, this is a perfect shot.
Absolutely.
You have to have a lot of power, and you have to really push through that wind, too.
Yeah, and with that tree on the left, you kind of have to reach it with a hyzer. That orange one that you see on the left can come into play if you kind of hyzer out too early. You just might have to throw your upshot from a knee.
Another great drive from Cat.
Yep, they're just showing that they throw far and taking advantage.
That's the distance advantage here.
Yep.
Both put them in the circle for a birdie look.
So I've bogeyed this hole the last 2 rounds, so I'm just praying for a par.
Kept it low
Mm-hmm.
in the fairway. That's all you can ask for.
Mm-hmm. I think this is a Zeus. I'm not 100% sure. But Missy puts it up in the air. Fades out a little left, but as you can see, she's having easy up and down.
Here's Paige. Gonna lay up for a par.
Yeah, no use in running it. Right now, I have third place by 3 strokes, so I'm just trying to get my pars and try to hold on to my second place.
Oh, bounced off the chains.
Yeah, it's disappointing. After a great drive, you definitely want to be capitalizing, especially right now with how tight scores are. But she'll walk away with a par, me as well.
Missy for her par. And Paige tapping in her birdie.
Pretty typical. Here's our UDisc leaderboard check-in. We still got Paige with a solid lead. Then I got me in second place, followed by Missy and Catrina. Then we have Andrea, Cynthia, Kona, and Erica trying to make moves as well. As you can see, scores are tight, and out in this wind, big numbers can be taken. So we are on to hole 7. This is a par 4, 531-foot hole. We're flying over OB right now, but most of us are getting way over this golf fairway. That tree that's coming up on the right can grab your discs, but most of us are trying to land left here in the shadows that you see. There is OB left of the cart path as well. We're trying to land here and give ourselves easy up and down for the birdie. It is a par 4, so most of us are really wanting to attack and take advantage here. And the basket is elevated, so that adds a little bit of trickiness, especially in the wind.
Yeah, it makes that upshot especially tricky because you want to put it so close to the basket. It's not just good enough to put it in the circle.
And it was a pretty strong left to right wind. Looks like Paige's disc got pushed right and got hung up in the trees, but she'll still have a decent look at birdie.
Cat puts it up high. Also gets caught up in that tree.
So I saw their mistakes and tried to aim a little more left. I took my Biofusion Enforcer, just trying to keep it in the middle.
It's a nice spot to be in. You're basically looking straight at the basket from there.
Definitely stoked on that one. I'm really wanting to birdie this one. I haven't birdied it yet.
Missy also keeping it low. You want to keep it low enough to keep it out of the wind, but high enough to go over that dish, because you can kind of get funky footing with all that tall grass. And it's like right where Kat's at, she's kind of running up downhill, but throwing uphill. So some upshots can be pretty low because of that.
Missy decides to take the hyzer out, yeah, and she gets
Great
well
shot
inside
from
the
Missy.
circle.
Paige going for the big hyzer.
I was kind of surprised with that pushing left to right wind, but
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that.
she's inside the circle. So I had those low branches, and I just didn't think about it, and I threw a putter. In order to get the height, and the distance, you got to throw it up high. So I threw it low.
Gave it a little bid.
Yeah, I really wanted that one. I feel kind of like an idiot not taking advantage of that literally perfectly placed drive. So kind of
happens
upset on
to
that
all
one.
of us.
Catrina with a miss as well. This is Paige for her birdie.
Ooh, kind of came out of her hand a little shaky, but went right in.
This is Missy for her birdie.
Oh, beautiful putt.
Absolutely.
It was kind of a good miss that you two had, because if you run at these elevated baskets too harshly, comebacker can be a nightmare. Ooh.
Yeah. Kind of super upset about that one. Just one of those holes that you just look back and you're like, what the heck just happened?
I birdogied that hole too, so I know how you feel. Hole 8, we have a par 5, 918 feet. The cart path on the right is OB. That tall grass on the left is OB. I mean, honestly, you're just trying to stay in bounds on your drive. Over the crest of this hill here, it kind of goes back downhill. We have a few trees to contend with. The pond on the left side. The OB continues just throughout the entire hole. And I mean, really, par is just great on this hole.
Definitely.
I mean, the birdie is gettable, but that's with incredible shots.
And especially with the crazy winds, this one is nerve-wracking for sure. So Paige is ripping on some kind of fairway. I'm not quite sure what it is.
Stop, stop, stop. Oof. There you go.
Definitely taking a deep breath and relaxing once you see your drive lands in bounds.
Missy throwing it high, but it looks like it's going to drop. Perfect. Yeah, and the thing about this hole is that you kind of want to throw directly over the OB on the right so it can hyzer out in bounds. So it's kind of nerve-wracking when you have that wind just whipping in your face and you know you have to throw towards the OB.
Right, and if you throw it too far left, you can go OB as well. So
Yeah. So it's just, ooh, stop. It's pretty ideal to take something that's kind of really overstable and dumpy, so that that angle just comes down harsher and you don't get that big skip at the end.
I know they make it look easy, but it's really not that easy. It's very scary. I decided to throw putter. I'm playing this hole for par. I never really practiced with drivers, so just sticking to my game plan. And it was a tailwind, so that helped.
2 good shots.
I usually try to get to the top of the hill in 2 shots. You can possibly see the basket on your 3rd shot, but you can easily get a par from there.
Whew. Oh, nice shot by Kat.
Yeah.
I was a little nervous with the driver here and there. I don't like throwing a driver from this spot down here because it's over the hill. Just a lot of things you got to think about.
Missy, let's just this one go high and early. Oh, that's how that happened. Okay, I was like, we were like, how is that in bounds?
Yeah, and that's kind of the mistake that you can make there because all that wind is coming through that little dip. Leaving it too high can really push it to the left a lot.
Paige decided to throw her banger, just keep it in bounds. I think the last few times she's played this hole, her second shot's gone out of bounds, so she's probably just trying to keep it safe, take her par, still maybe even get a birdie from there.
Ooh, another putter shot.
Yeah.
That's a good play on this hole.
I think so. I think,
if you can keep it in bounds with a putter that you trust.
I think birdies are few and far between here, so you're not really losing strokes by getting pars.
It's a great flick by Kat, giving herself a look at bird.
This is actually played as the 6th hardest hole, which I'm surprised it's not 1 or 2. But I guess we were able to keep it in bounds.
Sit down. Whew.
Yeah, Missy with a great upshot. She's putting for birdie.
Yeah, honestly, when it comes to upshots, I'd rather be long than short. 20 feet long than 20 feet short.
I get it. Paige goes a little... Was she parked? I don't remember. I'm throwing another putter upshot. It actually gets knocked down by the wind, so I have kind of a tester left. So I'm thinking, gotta make it.
Kat laying up. Smart play.
Paige has this long comebacker for birdie, I believe.
Whew. Just cuts through the chains.
Sure, she's disappointed, but a par, again, is not going to be bad.
Here's Missy for a birdie. Oh, man. Another beautiful putt by Missy.
Oh, yeah.
Just right on the pole.
Yep, and she was actually the only birdie on the day. There were a lot of pars, couple bogeys, a few more worse than bogeys, so.
Whew.
I know.
You got your par. Missy really closed the gap for second right there.
Yes, she did.
With birding those 2 holes, that's huge.
I feel like I blinked and I'm like, what just happened? But there's plenty of golf left, so we just got to keep chugging. All right, hole 9. This is also a par 5. This is 693 feet. Your first shot, you want to just make sure you get it through the gap and over that wall. If you land short of that, you have to proceed to the drop zone with a penalty stroke. Most of us are going to be landing right about here. If you want to be super aggressive, you might get further up the fairway, but left of that cart path is OB. All the bushes and stuff on the right are actually in bounds. Then you throw a big Anheuser shot. Most of us are landing right about, a little short of this, and then it actually funnels down into a tunnel. And we have a beautiful green with wood chips all around, so you won't be skipping too far past the basket if you slide in there. It is a tough par 5. We can birdie it, but it takes, 2 to 3 really pristine shots.
Yeah, and the drive is the most important thing on this hole. You really need to get a clean shot out if you're going to get a good score on this hole.
Missy just held on to it a little too late, and she unfortunately will have to take it from the drop zone.
Ooh, a little early, but it might cut through.
Yeah.
Did it?
It did.
Okay.
I think it'll show it here in a little bit, but we had to make a ruling and decide if it was in bounds or not. Looks like Catrina has a driver in her hand, so she's playing aggressive.
Right down the middle.
She turns it over, but that's the mistake you want.
Yeah. And none of that tall grass is OB on this hole, so it's really just being caught up in the bushes and stuff. That's the challenge there.
Mm-hmm. And it is a left to right wind once you get out of the tunnel, so.
Oh, is that a judge you just threw?
Yeah.
Nice. Get yourself out there. Almost made it to the short grass.
Yeah, so.
Oh, okay.
This, it is weird. There is that white spray painted leaf, but if you follow the line,
yeah, it's like that tall grass can move around with the painted line on it.
Yeah, so we decided benefit to the player.
Sit down, sit down. Oh, man. That was
So I think this is a buzz for Missy.
Get left. There you go.
Yeah, perfectly placed. The more you push that right side, the better, at least if you get further up. It makes it more attackable to get to the green.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Catrina and I did not have the best footing.
Yeah, all that stuff is so up in your arms and stuff.
Yeah. I didn't mean to put that much anhyzer on it, but I ended up on the other side and I'm out in the open.
Paige from her OB lie.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, that had to be a misfire.
Oh, yeah, and there is OB up there to the left, so I believe she threw it out of bounds.
There's Kat with her third shot, trying to get around that corner.
She's so solid with those forehands.
Yeah.
She placed
She
it
looked like she didn't put
perfectly.
anything on that either and got around the corner. Ooh. Was that pole kind of in your way?
Yeah. I mean, well, I was really just thinking about that branch, and I nicked it, and good line, just pretty short.
Yeah. You just straight look at the basket from there. Throwing 4 from here, correct?
Yes. So she's trying to save her par.
Ooh. Wow. Great upshot.
Absolutely. And that's what you want to do if you really, if you throw out of bounds on your drive, you have to play it perfectly to save your par, and she does just that.
Kat with another flick. Ooh. Rolled a little bit, but she'll have a putt. Surprised she's not throwing like a hyzer. Or is it like a really tight angle from there?
I think it was tight, and I bet she was trying to run it, honestly. I mean, she's gone OB twice. I think this is for her 6 or 7. 1, 2. This is for her 7.
Whew.
Yeah.
Wow. It's a great putt.
She lays it all out, full commitment.
She knows that spot. She's landed there a couple times.
Catrina has a little bit of a tester.
Just a little low. She'll be tapping in her bogey. Paige with the par.
Yeah, I was disappointed. I parred it all rounds, which isn't bad, but I really wanted to birdie it at least once.
Still, par is not bad at all.
Missy with a fantastic par save as well. All right, thanks for watching the front 9. Tune into the back 9 as we see us finish out the last round of the first tournament back since the coronavirus. So check us out. We want to thank Dynamic Discs again, the Disc Golf Pro Tour for providing us with tournaments again to compete, and then of course GK Pro for providing FPO coverage. My name is Paige Shue.
I'm Rebecca Cox.
And make sure you tune in on the back 9.